the Bills beat the Cowboys 31-10. I hate to say I told you so, but I also don't hate to say I told you so. Especially when it comes to any AFC West team or the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. Let's just start with the Cowboys. The Cowboys have two compounding issues that fit like the shittiest glove possible. A quarterback that plays scared and essentially is just almost a non-factor if they don't have a lead. And then on the opposite end, a defense that can't stop the run. So an offense that can't stay on the field and a defense that can't get off the field when they're behind. Is just like, that's why they get blown out in these losses, is because Dak just becomes nothing when they're down and they need somebody to have heroic play and like do something and drag this team out of the mud, a la Josh Allen, a la Patrick Mahomes, a la a Joe Burrow, or even a Justin Herbert. We've seen do it. These top tier guys where we've seen them mount comebacks and drag teams from 2-score deficits. That's not Dak. I've been saying it. He is a game manager. It's just gonna get worse. We're gonna be talking about this in the summer. Should Dak get a new contract? Blah 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 blah. I've said it. No, you don't re-sign Dak. You figure it out. He's got you have till 2020. You have until 2025 to figure out what to do with the quarterback situation, whether it be drafting somebody in the first 2 rounds or maybe you rely on Trey Lance, whatever it is. This game and all the other losses this season are just perfect examples of why Dak is not that guy. That MVP conversation with Dak lasted all of 5 days, and I'm sure for Cowboys fans it was really nice. You beat the Eagles. You have these. Dak has some big moments, and now it's all dead because you can't come back. And then everything. Everybody's talking about the road wins and all this. It's not that. It's not that they can't win on the road. I think the Cowboys are fully competent to be able to in winning on the road. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is they have the same. It's the same thing. A lot of these good teams have this same issue this year, is that if you are down 2 scores, do you have the quarterback who can drag you back? Now, the Cowboys, on the Ravens end, they have the defense that I am not totally worried that they can't stop the opposing team from hitting that 130-yard threshold. They're perfectly capable of doing that. The Cowboys, on the other hand, this has been a red flag issue for a couple of years now with the Cowboys, is the lack of size in the second level in their linebacking unit, and just playing downhill on runs. They just don't. They want to get a lead, and those guys up front, Michael Parsons especially, be able to just pin their ears back and go attack the quarterback. And if they can't do that, they don't really have the hogs up front to fight against a team that can just pound the rock. And the Bills aren't even really a team that can pound the rock like that. Like, that's the craziest part. Is like, I know James Cook, since Joe Brady took over, has been cooking, to say the least, but like, the Bills' offensive line, are they really that good? Are they just a punishing offensive line that just takes over games? No. Is James Cook just an all-worldly running back? Maybe he's emerging into that, but he hasn't been up to this point. So it's like, the Cowboys have a lot of issues. I always say it. At the worst possible time, they're going to do the worst possible thing. And this is it. I said, Dak is your MVP as long as he doesn't shit his pants. And what does he go do? Shits his pants on command, on cue, right on time. Could this maybe help them tighten up and get hot for a playoff run? Sure, that's possible. That's very possible. I still think this is a good, solid team all around, but your two main issues are just like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? Like, they are just a perfect fit of games like this, of games like if the 49ers have a good game, if the Lions have a good game, if even like the Packers, like a team like that, or the Buccaneers, if they can just get a lead and just let Rachaad White, like there's a lot of teams in the league right now that could take advantage of this issue that the Cowboys have. And I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about them. I've seen this coming. I can see it coming a mile away. Like, that's the big issue with a lot of these good top teams right now, is what happens if you don't just get a 20-point lead? What happens when you have to face real adversity? Excuse me. What do you do? The Cowboys, apparently, it's just fall asleep. Just go home. Just go home back to Dallas and take your lump. And then next week they play the Dolphins. Oh, can the Dolphins put up 200 yards rushing? Yeah. Probably one of the best rushing teams in the league. We seen what they did to the Broncos. Are the Broncos? Let's look this up. The Broncos team statistics for 2023, of course, that's what their league ranking in rush defense is 22, 32, dead last for yards, 22nd for touchdowns, and 32nd for yards per attempt. And let's go with the Cowboys, because if I remember correctly, the Cowboys are floating right around 20. So it's not like it's a far-fetched idea. Let's see. Attempts 19, yards 19, touchdowns 19, yards per attempt 18. So they don't give up as many explosive, those stats would tell me they don't give up as many explosive runs as the Broncos. And I would love to see what those rankings are if you just made that Dolphins game a league average game, where they would rank rushing wise. But all of that says you're primed for a tough day. And don't like, then you add in the fact that you have to take care of Waddle and Tyreek, and you're in for a tough night. The upside is the Dolphins defense is soft. So can you come out? Could the Cowboys be upset at this loss to the Bills and just come out and punch them in the mouth? Yeah, that is definitely a possibility. But it's the Cowboys. What? You know what I mean? Like, perfect. The worst thing at the wrong time would just be to go on a little skid right here at the end of the season to just blow everything. And so they have the Dolphins, and look, right on cue, Dolphins are a team set up to take advantage of that weakness of not being able to do anything with the comeback. The Lions, another perfect example. If the Lions get up 14, they have the dogs and that offensive line to just pound the life out of the Cowboys. And just, to be honest, the defensive stuff is cool, right? But the real thing is, you got a guy back there making $40-50 million a year who you don't expect to go win a game in one of those situations. Everybody else that's up there doing that right now, you're expected to go make something happen, bro. And I don't know what you do. That's the problem with the quarterback situation, is if you're a team that is trying to contend, what do? You can't, it's like you can't really go just throw Dak away. But then also, like we talked about on the pod last week, is like, okay, so you got to pay next 2025, you got to pay Dak, you got to pay Micah, you got to pay your two Hall of Fame linemen Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. You got to pay Micah. You got to pay CeeDee Lamb. You got to pay all the ancillary pieces around those guys also, or do you just flip them and try to draft well? Like, basically, the Cowboys the next 4 or 5 years are extremely dependent on them hitting the ball out of the park when it comes to the draft. The next two draft, well, really, this upcoming 2024 draft, they have to hit that out of the park perfect to really kind of get out of this a little bit clean and keep Dak and continue to contend, or you're going to have you're going to have 60% of your salary cap tied up in 5-6 guys. That's where you at. You better pray that Trey Lance is good. Now on the other side of the ball, the Bills. Are the Bills the hottest team in the AFC? The hottest team in the league? Are they the scariest team? The team that nobody wants to see to play? No. Because we don't get to do this. I've said it. I might not have said it on here 1,000 times. You don't get to do this thing where you simultaneously say the Chiefs are broken, the offense is dead, Patrick Mahomes is broken, like they're done for, like they don't have the weapons, they're a bad team, and then also turn around and say, but because the Bills beat the Chiefs, they're the hottest team in the AFC. They won 2 games. They're not on some like crazy winning streak like the Broncos went on. They won 2 games. This is the same team that lost to the Jets and the Patriots. Now, are they catching on? Are they getting hot at the right time of the year? Seems like it. But also, we can't do that. We can't have both things, right? We can't have both things. We can't have it both ways, where the Chiefs are a terrible team now and they're not real contenders, but then also the Bills are awesome because they beat that team that a lot of people are turning on and saying they're not a real contender. This is what the Bills do. They're up and down, and they win these 2 games against 2 good teams, and they could very easily lose 2 more games and just be completely out of the playoffs. That's not out of, like, that. Well, that wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. Like, there's no way we would have thought they lost to the Patriots at the time or the Jets opening night. No way. Especially with Aaron Rodgers going down in that Jets game. But then it's like, in the beginning of the season, there's no way we would have thought they would have blown out Miami by 30 points either. I don't know what to do with this team. I like Josh Allen. I think he is the saving grace for this team. I honestly think if they get in the playoffs, that's my MVP. If they win out, that's the MVP. Just give it to Josh Allen. I don't care if he throws 27 interceptions. Like, the fact that he carried that team to the playoffs, especially if they win a playoff game on top of that. Because his wide receivers also aren't really producing. Diggs, for the past 4 weeks, he pops up every once in a while, but he's not performing at the same rate that he has been. James Cook is starting to come on now, and I just think, I still think the team behind the main guy is kind of slipping, and when they stepped up, this is what you get. You blow out a top 5, arguably a top 5 team in the NFL right now, and they just have to hold on for dear life, I guess. The fact they won that game, Josh Allen threw the ball 15 times. Like, I went through all this and never even mentioned, like, James Cook ran for 179 yards. That's pretty crazy. And then somehow, with being down so bad, all Dak can muster up is 134 yards and a pick. Let's see. What are they? Third down, 5 for 13. So they weren't bad on third down. It just couldn't get it done. Time of possession was 24 minutes to 35 minutes. That's pretty bad. 5 penalties and a turnover, and the game's over. Well, Dak's pick was late, though, wasn't it? Yeah, Dak's pick was already down 30, so I'm not going to penalize him on that pick. But the guy plays scared. Put somebody else in there, man, or this is going to be a sad crash out for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, not put him in there right now, but you need to start. They need to figure something else out for the future.